I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those that saw all the hype about Elden Ring going on in the world and thought it would, be a great idea to give it a little shot, all right? Looks super cool, figured it'd be something a little different from what I typically play, but it looked fun, all right? Everyone was talking about it, there was hype everywhere. However, I have never played a Dark Souls game in my life before, and I was not prepared by any means for what this game was about to do to me, all right? It's after what I would say about 30 some hours of gameplay and about an equal amount of time Googling just what the hell I'm supposed to do, I've come to the realization that I really up. Apparently, you're not just supposed to level everything up together. Apparently there's specific builds you're supposed to do with your character and different quest lines to follow and all this other that isn't explained in the game. Now, they just dump your ass in a limb grave, give you a butter knife and a magic horse, and say, good luck, pal. And now, I know, all right, I know, all the FromSoft boys are probably already typing in the comments about how I should have known better, all right? I should have known that some games just don't tell you anything of how to play their game. I know, I'm an idiot, and these games are unlike anything else, and how they're supposed to be extremely difficult. This isn't Call of Duty, kid, all right? Listen, a little bit of guidance would have been nice. That's all I'm asking for, Because now I'm here with a character that's kind of barely decent at just about everything, and from what I can tell, I just need to start over and scratch everything because, it now costs me 30,000 runes to level up one individual thing. Anyway, I was going somewhere with this. Right. Wheels. Aftermarket wheels. So you've been there, you've done that with your first round of aftermarket wheels, and now you're ready for that next step, just like I'm ready just to start over with this whole game if I just don't delete it. You're ready to change it up a bit and get that next set of wheels, and if so, hell yeah, we're graduating, baby, getting rid of your little baby training wheels and get yourself into some big boy wheels or some wheels, more suited for what you're doing with your car. So if that's the case, which I hope it is, because otherwise I don't know why you'd be watching this video, here are some tips on what to look for your next set of aftermarket wheels. Also, Elden Ring is a good game. All right, I'll give it that, but my God. So the first thing that you need to take into consideration here is what exactly are you looking to do with your car? Are you tracking the car? Are you showing the car? Or are you planning to use it as your trusty daily driver that looks good and can fit into your local shows, but also functional enough to get you to where you need to go? Because believe it or not, you have wheels that excel in different areas compared to others. And if you are on a bit of a budget, you wanna make sure that you're not overspending for something that you don't really need or you're never gonna use. Not saying you have to stick to a certain wheel or a specific purpose, but it helps give a good starting point for you to look at. Or you can just ball out with a dope set of wheels. Choice is yours. I mean, I don't really care. For something like a functional, good-looking daily driver, you probably have the most options to choose from, which makes it pretty nice and neat. Odds are for your first set of wheels, there's something a little more on the inexpensive side, enough to get your feet wet with everything, but nothing too crazy. But now, you're looking to step that up a little bit. Some great brands to start looking at would be brands like Enkei, Koenig, Inovia, Rotiform, and Conseil. All these brands hover around that same price point and are what we would consider to be your intermediate level brands as far as price, as they will typically land you anywhere between $1,000 and $1,800 for a set. All these brands are trusted brands in the industry, and some of them, like Enkei and Koenig, have been a staple of aftermarket car wheels for quite some time. When you start to get into this level of aftermarket wheels, you'll start to see that they move past just your typical cast wheel process or manufacturing process. In most cases, they move into additional manufacturing process with something like rotary forging or whatever, they've coined that process to be. This makes for a stronger and lighter wheel, which may sound like something that you would really only need for the track or for performance use, which, don't get me wrong, is one of the main reasons as to why that process was developed in the first place, but it's also not a bad thing to have for your daily driver. I mean, with spring and full swing around here, those roads are looking a little rough out there. Could lose your whole car in some of those potholes. Have you seen those things? Always good to have a little bit of extra strength when it comes to your wheels. It never hurts any. Overall, you're getting a more quality wheel with original designs, which is what you should be shooting for when you get into your, I would say, next set of wheels. With the addition of whatever rotary forging term each company has coined, like I said, you get a little bit of extra security, knowing that your wheel isn't going to shatter into a million pieces if you do end up finding one of those street craters. Now, this doesn't mean that you can only throw these wheels on your daily driver. That's not the case at all. I mean, pretty much all those brands we just listed were intended intended for some sort of motorsport purpose to begin with, and is why all the time and R&D and new manufacturing process were put into them. But here's the thing, what if you're already there? If you're like me, I picked up a set of NT03s as my first set of like real aftermarket wheels. But again, the need and want was there to kind of grow upon that. So if you're already there, good for you. You probably picked out a dope set of first wheels, and props to you, good job. But still, maybe it's time to switch things up and give the car a good old refresh with a new set of kicks. So what now? Do you stick with the same kind of brands and stuff like that, or should you move up to something else? Well, typically, I mean, you could stick with something similar, it's just fine. However, you know, a lot of people want to take that next step, take a little bit of a leap, you know, into some more, you know, real big names, moving into the forge wheel category and even multi-piece wheels. Keep climbing that ladder, you know, or falling into the money pit, whatever way you want to look at it, you know, kind of a glass half full, half empty kind of thing. Anyway, once you break out of that so-called intermediate price range, you get into some real heaters, all right? We're talking wheels like Volk, Work, Advan, SSR, and so on, all making some absolutely killer fully forged monoblock and multi-piece forged wheels. Now, with this comes quite a bit of, you know, an increase in price, but don't forget about your wheels you got right now, you dummy. Don't hang on to them as like some garage ornament, hoping you're gonna make like a table out of them or something. I can guarantee you're not gonna make a coffee table out of the wheels, all right? It's just not gonna happen. Sell those things, use them as a nice little bump to get you that next set of wheels that you really want. Facebook Marketplace is a wild place to be right now with things going for just absolutely crazy prices. I saw a plate going for like $30 the other day. Odds are you might get more than what you think for your old set of wheels. Now, like I said before, you can throw whatever wheels on pretty much whatever you want. I mean, it's really your car after all, but when you're spending over $3 grand on a wheel setup, you probably want to get the most out of them that you can. Your monoblock forge options are going to be great for motorsports use, as well as look badass on pretty much anything that you end up throwing them on. As some of the strongest and lightest types of wheels that you can get, it's easy to see why these things are so popular and a popular choice in specifically the motorsports scene. And kind of also why you see so many of them like up for sale that are used and they look like they've been through hell and back. And even though we've seen pretty much every type of wheel in existence show up on some type of show car, there are always the ones that seem to take the cake when it comes to a show build. And that, of course, is your multi-piece forged wheels. The main reason being is that you can dial these things into whatever fitment your little heart desires. With wheel fitment being the name of the game, when it comes to a lot of these car shows nowadays, getting your fitment down to the millimeter can be absolutely crucial for your overall build. And multi-piece forge is a way you can assure that you get the look that you want without having to run some sort of crazy spacer. Trust me, been there, done that, it works, not ideal, a little bit, you know, a little bit scary, and you always gotta worry about it. I don't know, it's kind of a peace of mind thing, especially with the popularity of wide body kits and over fenders, you know, going on pretty much everything today. You know, you're going to need those crazy specs. With companies rebuilding some older Japanese wheels to modern specs, or even companies like Rotiform, Boston, and even us, Inovia, being able to completely custom build a set of forged wheels for you and your car really opens up some crazy possibilities, of course, if you're willing to pay the price. You can do whatever color you want, you do whatever size you want, you can make, you know, some adjustments to the design and things like that. You can really go all out, which is super cool, and you can get a super unique custom set of wheels that no one else has. But like I said, it comes at a little bit more of an extra cost. So hopefully this helps guide you in that right direction if you're looking to get a new set of wheels for your car. Like I said, don't be afraid to sell the wheels you got sitting around. There's probably someone out there that is willing to buy those. Like I said, if you started with some like RPF ones, go sell your RPF ones. There's definitely some 17-year-old out there that's trying to get a good deal on some RPF ones. I can guarantee you that. But otherwise, if you're looking for that next set, make sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com, because we got wheels, tires, and suspension, and maybe a little bit more stuff coming in the near future. But you can check all that out over at fitmentindustries.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Gels. We'll see you later. Peace.